Take a seat, sir.
Honourable Speaker, thank you. I rise in terms of Rule 69A, and the members on my right are conversing so loudly they're creating disorder in the House, and it will do them well to listen to the Speaker because he is talking sense. Thank you, Honourable Speaker.
Thank you, Honourable Tambo.
Thank you, Honourable Speaker. I rise on a point of order because the Honourable Member is misleading the House. He says that the Economic Freedom Fighters has called for increasing of taxation to 300,000 people in South Africa. The EFF has never called for that. Just because he knows that white people are the ones who control the wealth in this country and he feels guilty, he assumes that's the EFF position. Can you withdraw that?
Honourable members.
The EFF has never said we must tax 300,000 people only.
Honourable member.
He must withdraw.
Honourable member, when you make a point of order, you do make a point of order in terms of the rule. But when we proceed and engage in the debate, it fails to be a point of order. I've not listened, honourable members, I've not finished my point. I've not finished my point. I have not, Honourable Nhlangwini, I do think we should actually respect each other. Honourable Tambo, I've heard your note and I would come back and rule on the matter. And on Honourable Member Dana, I've also noted your point. That's why I was calling the point of order, because indeed we were drowning the Speaker. Honourable Reddy, can you please take your point of order? What's your point of order?
Thank you very much, Honourable Speaker. Speaker, I'm just raising your attention to Rule 68. We are indeed on the fiscal framework, and I want to point out the rule of irrelevance and repetition. So the pastor, bishop, or whatever it is, the one that have visited Israel, Israel, no,
Honourable member,
is not sticking to the fiscal framework.
Honourable member, can you please take your seat?
To irrelevance.
I will make a ruling. There is no point of irrelevance in this instance. The member is within his right to make metaphors as he continues with his speech, so as other members have done. I mean, you could have said you are not in a rally when others spoke, but we didn't. We respect members' rights to make, paraphrases or whatever analogy. Order, honourable member, you can proceed. Honourable Mautwe.
Greetings to the Commander-in-Chief and President of the EFF, Commissars and Fighters. The EFF rejects the 2025 fiscal framework and revenue proposals as tabled by the Minister of Finance and supported by the Standing Committee on Finance, where members of the former liberation movement were led and supervised by the Racist Democratic Alliance. Speaker, we are standing here today for the second time to debate this fiscal framework and revenue proposal because the original report was adopted unprocedurally. We warned you, you ignored us. You allowed the House to adopt the report that was procedurally illegal despite our advice. You allowed a framework that sought to increase VAT from 15% to 15.5%, an increase profusely rejected by almost all political parties except for the ANC, Action SA, and the so-called GNU parties. You allowed a report that places more tax burden on the working class by failing to adjust personal income tax brackets in line with inflation, effectively pushing middle-income earners into higher tax brackets without them anymore in real terms. You, Madam Speaker, presided over a House that adopted the fiscal framework report without any clear statement on whether we accepted or amended the fiscal framework and revenue proposals in violation of Section 6 of the Money Bills Amendment Procedure and Related Matters Act, Act 9 of 2009. It took the EFF to approach the Western Cape High Court to stop the VAT increase. If it were not for the EFF, South Africans would already be paying 15.5% VAT today. The people of South Africa know now, without any doubt, that the EFF is the only dependable tool in the hands of the poor and the working class. Now we are presented with a revised fiscal framework. Firstly, the Minister of Finance, having failed to increase VAT, has now imposed an increase in fuel taxes without even bringing a bill to Parliament. This tax is already in effect. It is a violation of the basic constitutional principle that no tax may be imposed without the authority of legislation. We must be very clear. We reject the fuel levy increase in its entirety. This increase in the fuel levy is not just an attack on motorists, it is a direct assault on the poor. The fuel levy is a regressive tax. It affects everyone, especially the poor and the working class, who are already under immense pressure from the rising cost of living. When fuel prices go up, transport costs increase, food prices rise, and basic goods become more expensive. In South Africa, where millions rely on public transport and informal sector trade, the knock-on effect on fuel taxes are devastating. This happens at a time when 18.2 million people depend on government for grants. The decision will plunge more households into poverty, it will increase hunger, it will erode what little purchasing power remains for low-income families. And it was done without parliamentary approval. We will not accept taxation without representation. We will continue to fight this abuse of executive power, including through the courts. The Minister of Finance does not have the authority to impose taxes without legislative approval. This is an overreach. Secondly, the revised fiscal framework once again fails to adjust personal income tax brackets in line with inflation. This is a silent tax increase aimed at extracting 16.7 billion rands from already overburdened workers in a country where wage growth has collapsed. Thirdly, this framework says nothing about the crisis of municipalities. Majority of them are collapsing under financial distress. Service delivery to our people has come to a standstill. This budget proposes no bailout, no solution, no response, just silence. Lastly, and most dangerously, this budget is tabled in the middle of a prolonged economic crisis, yet it offers no plan to address the crisis. There is no stimulus package, no bold intervention, no new direction. According to the expanded definition of unemployment, 42% of South Africans are unemployed. That is almost 1 in every 2 people. The committee refused to use this figure and instead relied on the narrow definition of 32%, deliberately hiding the scale of the crisis. Many of the unemployed have given up hope of ever finding work. However, they remain unemployed and their suffering is real. Instead of creating jobs, the former liberation movement now listens to the CEO of Capitec Bank, a loan shark masquerading as a bank who wants to redefine unemployment to reduce the number on paper instead of reducing unemployment in reality. Just last week, Stats SA reported that the economy grew by only 0.1% in the first quarter of 2025. That is not growth, that is stagnation. It is proof that the National Treasury and the GNU have neither the capacity nor the political will to fix the economy. In response to this crisis, the EFF went to the Standing Committee and made clear, progressive, and implementable proposals. We proposed an urgent economic stimulus package of 500 billion, like we did during COVID-19, to revive growth, restore confidence in the economy, and reindustrialize. We proposed an immediate 4 billion rand increase in funding to SARS, not over the medium term, but this year, so that SARS is able to collect the more than 800 billion owed to the state. We proposed new taxes, wealth tax, apartheid tax, luxury land holding tax, because the people who gained from apartheid continue to live comfortably, while the children of the oppressed live in squalor. We showed that the fuel levy is regressive, more so than VAT. One study from Kenya demonstrated that 1% in fuel tax led to a 7% increase in food prices. That is cruelty this government is now defending. But all our proposals were rejected. The GNU is obsessed with budget cuts, obsessed with pleasing rating agencies,
Honourable Member,
obsessed
your
with
time
reducing
is up.
expenditure on education,
Honourable
policy,
Hadebe.
healthcare, and social grants. We reject this fiscal framework.